Hello, folks, and welcome to Club Passim. Tonight, Club Passim is coming to you from my apartment in Alston. But Club Passim is wherever you folks are tonight. We are thrilled to be able to bring to you Mike Agranoff for his own show tonight. But before we get to your music, I want to tell you just a little bit about Club Passim and some of the other things that we're doing during these lockdown times. Passim is a nonprofit organization, and we've been operating as a venue in Harvard Square for over 60 years and as a nonprofit for the last 26 years. And it's because of your support that we are able to, in normal times, put on shows every night of the week and run a school of music and have 2 grant programs, as well as many outreach programs into the community, some free summer concert series, all those things when we could do stuff together. But right now, we have moved as many of these programs online as we can so that we can continue to employ artists and so that we can continue to bring art to you. So since March, we have been bringing you streaming shows most nights of the week. You can go to passim.org/stream and see our upcoming schedule of events. We've also moved our School of Music online, so you can continue to take classes and workshops and listen to master classes all through Zoom. We have also restarted our open mic series that has kind of come and gone for us over the years, but we've really been enjoying the virtual format and being able to pull in folks from all over. So every Tuesday night, we run a virtual open mic from 7 to 9 o'clock, and anyone can sign up, and you don't have to park in Harvard Square. So win-win for everyone. We also have 2 grant programs as part of Passim, and we really have been trying to embody our mission this year of supporting artists, both their art and just for things like living expenses, because the world is difficult right now. But these are all things that we do with your help as the audience and as lovers of art and supporters. So if you would like to help us continue to present music like this and to eventually reopen when it is once again safe to reopen back in the club, you can go to passim.org/stream and make a donation. Tonight we are suggesting a $15 donation for this show. That's about what the ticket price would be if you came to the club. I will also be putting a direct donation link into the chat, so if you don't want to have to navigate through the things yourself, you can check out the chat, and in one of the comments you will see a direct donate link to support both Passim and Mike for tonight. Thank you folks for spending your night with us. I know it was an eventful day. I hope you've kind of had a chance to have a nice calming breath for the first time in a few years, and enjoy some art that we're going to be bringing you tonight. Passim is thrilled to be able to present Mike Agranoff tonight in his first headlining show at Passim. He did open for Bill Staines in the club a couple decades ago, but we are thrilled to give him his own night of music. I hope you will enjoy Mike Agranoff.
I am just a folkie, and my song is seldom heard, for I cannot sing the tune and keep forgetting all the words. That's not unusual. But I try my best, and I play the 3 chords that I know and disregard the rest. Asking only gas and free beer, I come looking for a gig, but I get no offers. Just a rip-off from this bar on 7th Avenue. He told a tale after 6 nights at 3 sets a night, he'd pay me without fail. And the check was in the mail. All together now. Lies, plural. Lies. Lies. So I left the bars and the coffee house feeling no more than annoyed, and I come to play for strangers on the corner streets or subway stations, anywhere. They might go for the nickels, dimes, and quarters that the harried people throw, playing Dylan songs or something they might know. In the kitchen sits a folkie, a songwriter by his trade, and he tries to do his taxes on the money he ain't made on singing protest songs against the war, or that Simon and Garfunkel shit that folks don't sing no more. And he asks himself, what do I do it for? Why, well, why? Why, well, why, well, why? Sometimes that is just all too true. Let me get rid of... This device had its origins in the Spanish Inquisition, I think, as a method of removing a man's beard hairs one at a time. It is very painful. Hi, my name's Mike Agranoff. I am not so much a singer-songwriter as a singer-song-finder. I like to find those wonderful songs that have not made it out there into the public and make them out in the public. One of them is this upcoming one, written by my friend Peter Fishman, who used to be a neighbor of mine in New Jersey, but now moved up to a little west of Boston. The song is called The Highway, and ostensibly it's about a little piece of Massachusetts Route 2 just west of Cambridge. But in the larger sense, it's that road that we all travel back and forth to work and never really see. The song's called The Highway. In a swamp along the highway, tall trees stand bare, stripped of bark, while overhead the heavens build their nests, the trees' gray light, the nests brown dark. The birds all wheel away in summer, each nest stands open to the weather, till in spring, when heaven flocks return to raise their families together. This is how the story goes now and then. If you listen, you can hear. Here comes the chorus. We may meet again, who knows where or when, with the turning of the year. You try it. We may meet again, who knows where or when, with the turning of the year. Fallow field along the highway, corn stalks scattered on the dirt, last summer's bounty harvested and sold, the cold, cold ground remains inert. Till in spring, when the sun shines longer, the earth responds to warmer weather. The stalks decay, the plowman makes his way, mixing the stalks and soil together. This is how the story goes now and then. If you listen, you can hear. We may meet again, who knows where or when, with the turning of the year. We may meet again, cycle of seasons, tempest and time, effects of planetary motion around the sun. The bluest blue moon still tugs the tides around the ocean. Drivers all along the highway, mostly on their way to work. They're weaving in and out across the lanes, this one polite, that one a jerk. Most like me work in some building, completely cut off from the weather. And at day's end, we barrel round the bend, all homeward bound, alone together. This is how the story goes now and then. If you listen, you can hear. We may meet again, who knows where or when, with the turning of the year. We may meet again, who knows where or when, with the turning of the year. Peter Fishman. Here's a song, big band number, from the 40s that I wanted to make a sort of a snappy guitar arrangement out of. And I wanted to do it upright. I wanted to learn the verse, or what most people would call the introduction to the song. You know, the slow opening to it before it gets up to the up-tempo portion. So I got the sheet music, which will give you an idea how long ago this was that I learned this. And it didn't have a verse, so I wrote one. So let's see if you can figure out what the song is before the song comes around. I'm sitting in the station, I've got my reservation. New York, you have seen the last of me. In the waiting room I stand, my ticket in my hand. I'm trying to get back home to Tennessee. But the Pennsylvania station is a big confusing place, and I've been searching for my platform long in vain. Oh, but here's a local fellow with a friendly smiling face. Perhaps he'll tell me how to find my train. Anybody got it? But we have to update it just slightly. Pardon me, sir, is this the Chattanooga choo-choo? Track 29. Oh, you can give me a shine. Well, I can afford the Chattanooga choo-choo, and I've got my fare, just a trifle to spare. You leave the Pennsylvania station about 3:45, read a magazine, and then you're in Baltimore. Dinner in the diner, nothing could be finer than to have your ham and eggs in Carolina. When you hear the whistle blowing heat to the bar, then you know that Tennessee is not very far. Shovel all the coal in, gotta keep it rolling. Woo-woo! Chattanooga, there you are. Oh, there's gonna be a certain party at the station, satin and lace, I used to call Funny Face. And she's gonna cry until I tell her that I'll never roam. No, 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 no. Chattanooga choo-choo, come on and choo-choo. You leave that Pennsylvania station about 4:15. Read a magazine and then you're in Baltimore. Got your dinner in the diner, nothing could be finer than to have your Frosted Flakes in Carolina. When you hear the whistle blow and head to the bar, then you know the Tennessee, it's not very far. Shovel all the coal in, gotta keep her rolling. Woo-hoo, man, there you are. Oh, there's gonna be a certain party at the station. Satin and lace, I used to call Funny Face. And boy, was I ever wrong. Who? She's gonna cry. Boo-hoo, till I tell her that I never more will roam. No Chattanooga choo-choo. Come on, Chattanooga choo-choo. Won't you choo-choo-choo-choo? Chattanooga choo-choo. Come on, choo-choo me home. What? Yeah? Okay. There you are. And I awoke today and found the frost perched on the town. It hovered in a frozen sky and gobbled summer down. And when the wind turns traitor cold and shivering trees are standing in a naked row, I get the urge for going, never seem to go. And I had a girl in summertime, she had summer-colored skin. Not another man in town my darling's heart could win. Then the leaves come tumbling down, and bully winds did push them face down in the snow. She got the urge for going, I'd have let her go. And she got the urge for going now when meadow grass is turning brown, summertime is falling down, winter's closing in. And the warriors of winter breathe the cold triumphant shower. All that stays is dying, all that lives is getting out. See the geese in chevron flight, flapping and racing down before the snow. They've got the urge for going, got the wings to go. And they get the urge for going now when meadow grass is turning brown, summertime is falling down, winter's closing in. So I'll ply the fire with kindling and pull the blankets to my chin. Lock the vagrant winter out and all my wanderings in. I'd like to call back summertime, yeah, and have her stay, if only for a month or so. But she's got the urge for going, suppose she'll have to go. And she gets the urge for going now when meadow grass is turning brown and all her empire's falling down. Winter's closing in, and she gets the urge for going now when meadow grass is turning brown and summertime's falling down. Joni Mitchell, of course, Joni Mitchell. I will sing you a little Irish song, preceded with a little Irish joke. So Sean is into his third Guinness. The door of the pub flies open. This little green fellow about yo-high bursts in, does a little step dance, does 2 handsprings up onto the bar, does 3 cartwheels along the bar, lands right in front of Sean, sticks his head in Sean's beer, goes and runs away. And Sean understandably is displeased with this turn of events, so he levers himself up off the bar stool, chases the little fellow down the corner, grabs him by the scruff of the neck, says, "Look, you can't be doing this. You can't be just bursting in here, sticking your head in somebody's beer and going, oh, yes, I can, yes, I can, yes, I can, because I'm a leprechaun and we can do whatever it is we like." Leprechaun, is it now? Oh, that's as maybe. But never if you do that again. I'm going to take you by a little green belt, pull down your little green trousers, grab you by a little green weenie, swing you around me head 3 times and pitch you right out that door over here. And he says, "No, you can't, no, you can't, no, you can't, because leprechauns don't have weenies." Huh? Leprechauns don't have weenies? How on earth then do you pee? Oh, simple. We go, This song has a chorus that I dare you to sing. One day a beautiful princess was walking through the bog, when whom should she meet on a slab of peat but Fred the talking frog. "Well, the top of the morning to you, miss, hello, hello," cries he. "I'd be glad, you know, if you'd stop a mo and listen close to me, because I've been bewitched and I'm needing a royal miss, such as your lovely self, to give this ugly mug a kiss. Such a metamorphosis will then ensue, I'll tell you true, and I'll turn back to a handsome prince and straightway marry you. To me rightful, rightful Johnny Godarum, higgledy-piggledy, down and around to me high-low, harem and scarum, riding a white horse to Cranberry Town. To me toady-toady, Truman Capote, driving to Sligo with Molly O'Shafer, to dance by the sea with a right cup of tea on a bleary Sunday morning. All together now. Yeah, says the princess, yeah, right, and that's just fine. But if it's a kiss you're after, I fear you'll have to stand in line. There's frogs outside me father's castle, frogs all in the royal hall. Frogs is climbing up the chimney, frogs is bouncing off the wall. Frogs is floating in the moat and up the stairs and on the shelf. If I kissed every one of yous, Jesus, I'd have no time left to meself. So laddie, let's make it swift, for lately grows the hour. I'm due home from me evening shift, a pining away all in the tower. To be rightful, rightful Johnny Johnny go there and higgledy-piggledy down and around to me high-low. Harem and Scarum riding a white horse to Cranberry Town to be Cody, Truman Capote, Faith and Begorra, it's Maureen O'Hara, driving to Sligo with Molly O'Shafer to dance by the sea with a right cup of tea on a bleary Sunday morning. Well, she's just about to kiss him when Mrs. Frog comes hopping by saying, "Fred, you're late for dinner." "Coming, dear," was his reply. "You mean he's not bewitched?" the princess says. "Just odd," says Mrs. Frog. And into kissing princesses he meets upon the pond. And though I love me Fred, I fear he chafes at family ties. I'd invite you in for dinner, me dear, but we only have 2 flies. Thank God you didn't kiss him. Today's your lucky day. When I kissed Fred, I was a princess too. That's how I got this way. To be rightful, Johnny go there and higgledy-piggledy down and around to me high-low. Harem and Scarum riding a white horse to Cranberry Town to me Toady, Truman Capote, Faith and Begorra, it's Maureen O'Hara, hark to the herald, it's Barry Fitzgerald, all driving to Sligo with Molly O'Shafer to dance by the sea with a right cup of tea on a bleary Sunday morning. To me Toady, Truman Capote, Faith and Begorra, it's Maureen O'Hara, hark to the herald, it's Barry Fitzgerald, all in a Volkswagen with Victor McLaughlin, driving to Sligo with Molly O'Shafer to dance by the sea with a right cup of tea on a bleary Sunday morning. For to dance by the sea on an LSD Timothy Leary Sunday morning. Michael Peter Smith. Michael Peter Smith. Well, here's a song. Here's one of my those gems that I found that nobody's heard, and it's just brilliant song. Written by a fellow by the name of Andrew Lawrence, originally from the D.C. area, now living in Western Massachusetts. To my knowledge, not gigging out much. I haven't heard anything from him in years, which is a shame because he's a brilliant writer. This is an amazing story this song tells. It's called Deeper Waters. Jacob was born back in 22, seemed he already had chores to do. Bound his farm like the blue tattoo burned into his arm. Never had nothing but a patch of land that he worked himself with his one son Randy. Truth be told, weren't worth a damn. Little matchbook of a farm. Jacob made sure Randy went to school, but the kid learned more from the plow and the mule. Reckon we're sharp as your average fool, either one would claim. Randy went away for about a year, thought he could find him a fine career, but all he found was a chance to hear something call him by his name. Call him home, where his fingers and his toes know the ground. Home to the barking and the scrambling of the hounds. Home where your white oak grows and Cold Creek flows down from deeper water. Randy never known his father to complain, except for falling prices and the lack of rain. But lately he'd been talking about the constant pain, trying to slow him down. Then one day on the upper hill, Randy found his pa falling deathly ill, lying quiet but breathing still, so he drove him into town. Checked him in a hospital late at night, put him in a room with fluorescent light. Folks come around all dressed in white to plug him to machines. Couldn't have a drink and couldn't smoke, and he cursed them to hell every hole they'd poke, till he hardly ever woke, set to working in his dreams. Back to home, where the years were laid like crops in a row. home where his garden needs a lesson from home, with his friends and kin, and storms rolling in over deeper water. Then a couple of days become a couple of weeks. Randy saw his pa getting in the cheeks, spent like a stalk when they stripped away the corn. Randy lay awake late into night, knowing that the whole thing just weren't right, knowing Jacob ought to die where he was born. So Randy parked the pickup by the rear door, found an empty gurney on the second floor, slipped by the nurse when he was sure that Jacob was alone. Kept talking soft in his father's ear, says, "You're all right now, nothing more to fear. Gonna get you out of here. You got chores to do at home." Back in his woods around a quarter mile, Jacob seemed aware for a little while. Randy could have sworn that he'd seen him smile before he passed along. Cops come by at the break of day, but no one round here had a word to say. Nothing but a prayer to pray, sending Jacob's spirit on. Back to home, where he's harvesting the seeds that he'd sown. Home, where his maker gladly gathers in his own. Home, where we're poured one day from pots of clay into deeper waters. Andrew Lawrence. Boy, sometimes I have trouble making it through that. I have a story for you. Those of you who are familiar with me know that I've written a number of recitations that I like to throw in to a musical performance. And this is one. This is a fictional story about a real person with a fictional name. John Draper was a notorious phone hacker in the 60s and 70s. And his nom de guerre was Captain Crunch. And he was well known for doing all sorts of mischief with the phone company. But this is a completely fictional story about a fictional character to whom I have given the same name, Captain Crunch. But the actions and motivations of my Captain Crunch have nothing whatsoever to do with John Draper. It's interesting, this story was written in the mid-'80s, before the breakup of AT&T. And there was only one phone company. You were charged considerable minute prices for long-distance phone calls. This is before that widespread use of the internet, before chat rooms, before email, before social networking. And yet, somehow or other, this story has managed to predict a lot of these phenomena, the 21st century phenomena. Wasn't my intention, just that's where my twisted mind led me. This is the ballad of Captain Crunch. You sing of the Robin Hood hero, the thief with the heart of pure gold, the Lone Ranger and Tonto and Zorro and all those other brave legends of old. You tell of Doc Holliday, young Jesse James, and the infamous Wild Dalton Bunch. But alone, at the top of the list of those names, stands the man that they called Captain Crunch. Okay, you can laugh at this curious name. Sounds like no prince amongst thieves. But well, you may ask how it is that he came to be reckoned with such greats as these. Well, he robbed from the rich, the richest there was, though he took not a penny of plunder. But were not for him, we'd be bent neath a burden we never could get out from under. He never went armed with a pistol or sword. He carried no longbow and quiver. It wasn't his style to go buckle his swash, stop a coach and cry, stand and deliver. His weapon, an Apple computer. His bullet, it was an IC. His old trusty gun was a soldering one. And his target, the phone company. Blue boxers, they called us, and phone freaks, and nastier nicknames as well, applying the knowledge we picked up in college in order to rip off Ma Bell. We'd breadboard electronic circuits from an old Army surplus IC and make beepers and tutors to fool their computers and get all our phone calls for free. For us, it was mostly the challenge, a game between Ma Bell and us. They'd close down a loophole or put up a block or give us a new code to bust. And we all got PCs and modems and broke into their internal systems and tied up their trunk lines and screwed up their data. Did all kinds of shit that just pissed them. But 'twas more than a game for the captain. He had an old axe to grind. A clerical error by Ma Bell had left him with sentiments far from kind. They'd harassed him with bills for long-distance calls, for calls that he never had made. And it was only at last when they shut off his service he took up the blue boxer's trade. Learned that trade well, and soon made his name when he found that the switching code locks could be broke with a tone from a whistle that came in a Captain Crunch cereal box. This is a true story. You see, you'd dial up an 800 number, and before the phone rang at all, give the whistle a blast, dial the number you wanted, and never get charged for the call. You might say he found his true calling, discovered where his talent lay. I remember the time that he pulled off a feat that still stands as a legend today. From a payphone in Grand Central Station, dropped a dime, and his signal he hurled via satellite cable and microwave relay, and talked to himself round the world. That's also a true story. I never met him in person. I never knew his true name. Don't know what he looked like or where he called home, but I counted him friend all the same. All I knew was his voice and his renegade soul and his tireless quest for perfection. And I met him, along with the rest of that crew, at the North Manitoba Connection. Now, the North Manitoba Connection was a central Canadian exchange, a junction of trunk lines from provinces north, with a side effect that was most strange. Through a quirk in the system that Bell never planned, if they even knew of it all, those who knew how could use the exchange as the ultimate free conference call. You'd dial up a code any time, day or night, and converse with whoever was there. It was a permanent floating Blue Boxers convention with membership from everywhere. There was Iggy from Fargo and Sparks from Detroit and the Swenson boys out of St. Paul. And we'd bullshit for hours, swap lies, talk shop, or just listen, say nothing at all. It was sometimes so crowded you just couldn't think. But one night, at 2:45, there were only the three of us on the exchange, the captain and Lenny and me. Now, Lenny, he was our inside man, an R&D tech at Ma Bell. He had access to codes and computer net links and hints of new products as well. And he told us they've made a big breakthrough on a miniature personalized phone. The lines have been megaplex, and the bandwidth's been squeezed till we each could have one of our own. And the unit is so small it could fit in your ear or be surgically placed in your head. I said, I'd turn it off to go on vacation. Oh, that would be illegal, he said. A pregnant moment of silence. Then the captain, with sputter and cough, said, George Orwell's 1984 has arrived. How the hell could you turn the thing off? You could never hang up, leave the phone off the hook, or be out of the reach of Big Brother, except with old Ma Bell at the helm. It'd be more like Big Mother. Once they convince the American public to give the contraption a try, you might as well take what's left of your privacy, smile, and kiss it goodbye. They'll put ads on TV, shove it down all our throats as only the phone company can. Says Lenny to me, what the hell could we do? Says the captain, I have a plan. Have you ever heard of a gremlin? That creature of legend that lurks in the bowels of a system complex as this makes sure the damn thing never works. No such luck, replied Lenny. They got the kinks out, ran all the bugs through the mill, went through a field test, did not see a glitch. But the captain says, but they will. Lenny, help me get into their system. We'll show the old bastards what for. The entry code's secret, that much I know, so we'll have to go in the back door. From the dumpster. Go get the printouts, the results of that latest field test, leave them in a phone booth on 12th Street in Maine, and I'll take care of the rest. And he dropped out of sight for a couple of months. And we heard nothing from Lenny as well till the phone rang one night with a call from his wife with a pretty sad story to tell. Seems they found him one day after work in the labs with his nose where it didn't belong. And they threatened to take him to court if he didn't spell out everything he'd done wrong. Well, Lenny was never the strongest of men, and who knows what they threatened to do. But they wrung out of him every secret technique, every blue boxer's trick that he knew, and then they fired his ass, left him out on the street, turned their energies in our direction. And their very first move was to shut down the North Manitoba connection. That news hit us hard. It's surprising to find how important these little things are. 'Twas as if they had bulldozed the house you grew up in, or shut down your favorite bar. And us phone freaks are hermits for the most part, except within our own little clan. And the exchange bridged the gap twixt our personal islands, our one link with our fellow man. On the evening the shutdown was scheduled, the entire contingent was there. We didn't talk much, not much to say, just a feeling of gloom in the air. And one at a time, as the lines each were cut, one voice, then another, went dead. And more than one throat was constricted with tears as our last words of parting were said, until abruptly my phone became silent, with a silence can only be known by the deaf, or survivors of nuclear blast, or a man with a dead telephone. And to the silence I whispered forever farewell, though I knew that no one could have heard. And the silence replied in a voice that I knew. Well, forever is so strong a word. Captain? My God, where are you? How have you been? Where have you been gone all this time? And how'd you manage to tap in my circuit after they pulled out the line? Better not ask how I am, he replied, and better not ask where I've been. Suffice it to say that I fixed it, so that when they locked you out, they locked me in. You could say I'm no longer a part of your world, no longer reside on your plane, but the trillion connections twixt billions of phones form a system complex as man's brain, and now I'm part of that system. A meld of computer and mind. You could say I'm the phone company's conscience, and I'll see to it they toe the line. Gotta go now, can't keep this line open much more. And his voice faded out to a hiss. And I sat in the dark, a dead phone in my hands, left alone contemplating on this. In a way, it's fitting, the way he would choose. Things worked out just as they should. He's gone off to Blue Boxer's heaven, tapped into the system for good. Well, you know the rest of the story. The facts are no longer in doubt. Perhaps you subscribed to the personal phone when the newfangled thing first came out, and it never did work or squealed in your ear or hung up in the middle of calls. Well, now you all know that was just Captain Crunch grabbing old Mother Bell by the balls. And it's been a few years since they closed the exchange and the captain set off on his own. We've since seen divestiture, Sprint, MCI, and the $10 Japanese phone. And when I dial up his line, a recorded voice tells me, "This number is no longer in service." But I know he keeps vigil, and I know he keeps watch, and I know he still makes Ma Bell nervous. Because sometimes when dealing with answering machines, or sometimes when I'm on hold, this voice will come through to me, faint but distinct. A voice I remember of old. And you tell me it's leaked through from some other line. No. That's him talking to me. It's old Captain Crunch keeping watch on Ma Bell. the scourge of the phone company. Now, I just 2 weeks ago, I finally received Jake the Captain and Other Heroes, illustrated by a wonderful young artist that I found named Jacob Bilo. He did an illustration for each of the stories. This is the one for Captain Crunch. See if you can get a little closer on that. It's hard to work this with mirror image. There you go. And if you would like a copy of this book, go to what you see on your screen there, MikeAgranoff.com. Go to the store page, and there will be a place where you could buy the book, as well as any of my CDs. And speaking of CDs, I would also heartily suggest you pick up one or more of them. You can stream my songs from iTunes, and that's fine. And you stream the song, and iTunes gives me 0.04 cents for that stream. That's what they pay me. 2,500 people stream my song, and I get $1. However, if you buy my CD, first of all, I get the whole $15, and you get the song to keep and listen to as many times as you like. And you also get the art of the album, which is a dying art now with everything streaming. The albums, you get liner notes, which are informative. You get also a sequence. I mean, I pay as much attention to the sequence of the songs on my recordings as I do the songs on a set that I play. And the character of all of these discs are well represented by what you've heard thus far. Very different, all sorts of stuff. Pretty stuff, funny stuff, spoken word, instrumental, traditional, contemporary, a few of my own pieces, and all sequenced to follow in some sort of logical order. Do consider buying one. It's everyone who has given me raves. Okay. Here's another story. Yeah, can you take the website off so they can see the concertina? Thank you. My humble servant there. Thank you, Abby. Here's a song by an Englishman, which is another wonderful story, by the name of Grant Bainham. And if there were a Grammy Award for the song with the best opening line, this one would win it hands down. The song is called First Kiss. Excuse me. First kiss. The first one ever I kissed, apart from my cousin Janine, who does... Oh, wait a minute, forgot something. Yeah. It's good. First kiss. Take two. The first one ever I kissed, apart from my cousin Janine, who doesn't count because of the wart, was a long-legged, red-headed pearl of a girl whose second name I never quite caught. She was as old as Eve in her eyes and wise in the ways of men. When Rebecca was 11 and I was a tongue-tied four-eyed twit of 10. Her folks had a cozy summer cottage, Coleman stove and proper privy in a shed. We had a ramshackle cabin with a camp bed and a bucket with a curtain round instead. They had a tricked-out Vanagon. We had a clapped-out Chevy van back when Rebecca was 11 and I was a no-account, no-nothing nipper of 10. But Ever since then, oh, ever since then, it's never been the same, and it'll never be again as when Rebecca was 11 and I was 10. Rebecca in the willow, in the hollow by the river, in the long hot summer of the best year ever, and ever and ever. Amen. Alan said he'd seen down Rebecca's shirt, he said, and what he said he'd seen looked sort of flat. I told Rebecca I didn't care a heck of a lot for things like that, and Alan is a brat. She sort of smiled like they shouldn't, like they do, although I didn't know they shouldn't do then. When Rebecca was 11 and I was a new and clueless clown of 10. Follow me down, and we'll climb the pussy willow in the hollow by the shallow river turning. So she climbed, and I followed, and I looked up the leg of her shorts, which at least shows I was learning. And we sat in the willow in the hollow by the shallow of the river where the minnow dodged the pike. And Rebecca put her two tanned arms behind her head and said, "Go on then, you can kiss me if you like." And the golden down on the brown of her skin, and the moon white star on the point of her chin, and the eucalyptal taste of sin for the first time. And ever since then, oh, ever since then, it's never been the same, and it'll never be again as when Rebecca was 11 and I was 10. Rebecca in the willow, in the hollow by the river, in the long hot summer of the best year ever, and ever and ever. Amen. And I never saw Rebecca again. Isn't that a delicious little song? I mean, it didn't happen to me, but I was there. I could feel it. Ooh. Still gets me goosebumps. This black and silver white elephant here is called an English concertina. It's an instrument that I never had any particular desire to own or play or buy until one day I was presented with a bargain I couldn't turn down. And then I had to learn how to play it. And it was some of the best bargain I ever had in my life. I love this thing. It's sometimes used for song accompaniment, but more often used for fiddle tunes. So I'll play you an old fiddle tune, an old German fiddle tune by an old German fiddler named Johann Sebastian Bach. This is the Gavotte from his third partita for unaccompanied violin, and boy, doesn't that look classy on the set list. Let's see. Oh, Bach, try that again. say. Well, I will do you one more song. But first, let me do some thanks and some advertisement. Thanks, of course, to Passim and Matt Smith and Abby Altman for booking me and for setting me up so nicely with all the technical aspects, and for running Passim, as far as Matt's concerned, for the past 23 years, and that whole community behind it. It's just wonderful. Thanks to Larry Flanagan, who's my cameraman, and that's the thanks. Now for the advertisements. I would love to come back and play at Passim sometime once when we finally open up for real. So thank you for listening. As more people watching me, the more people think that maybe they might come to see me live, and that's nice. But if you would like to find out where I am playing, if you go to mike@mikeagranoff.com, as it shows over there, and write me an email saying you'd like to be on my mailing list, and give me your postal address as well, or at bare minimum city and zip, because when I tour again, I use that information to avoid spamming you from notifying you of gigs that are far from you. So please just right there ask me to put you on your mailing list, and go back to my website, mikeagranoff.com, and pick up some of my recordings or the new book. And let's finish this off. To smite Apollo's harp I am unable. Of loveliness, alas, I cannot sing. My lot it is across the tavern table to strike a chorus to the strumming string. I have no gift to touch your heart to pity. I have no power to ring the note of pain. All I could do is pipe a pothouse ditty or roar Rabelaisian refrain. Behold yon minstrel of the empty belly, who seeks to please the bored and waiting throng with ukulele, outside the opera with ukulele, and raucous strains of syncopated song. His ruckus only mocks their hearts that hunger for golden voice and melody divine. Yet, throw a penny to the ballad monger. Yet give a listen to these songs of mine. For with a humble heart I clank rhyme's fetters and bare my buttocks to the critic's note. A graceless hobo in the land of letters who pipes his ditties of the down and out. A barroom bard. So, if a coin you're flinging, pay me my pot and let me dream and booze. To stars of scorn my dour defiance ringing with battered banjo and a strumpet muse. Busy every day as I travel on my way to the city far beyond the sky. And there's not a doubt time is running out and the harvest is a drawing nigh. I need a little time to gather in the grain before I leave the world behind. Yes, and I'm ready when you call me Lord, but give me just a little more time. Let's give me just a little more time, Lord, give me just a little more time. So many precious souls are lost in sin, many may be left behind. And I've got a lot of things I need to do before I leave the world behind. Yes, and I'm ready when you call me Lord, but give me just a little more time. Time to lay before the Lord, before the final judgment day. But that I have to tarry here below, try to make my lamp to shine. You know that I'm ready when you call me Lord, but give me just a little more time. Let's give me just a little more time, Lord, give me just a little more. So many precious souls are lost in sin, many, many, many may be left behind. And I've got a lot of things I need to do before I leave the world behind. Yes, I'm ready when you call me Lord, but give me just a little more time. I tell you I'm ready when you call me Lord, won't you give me just a little more time? I might direct that to the person who's running the video. Give me more time. Thanks for listening. Good night.
And that's Mike Agranoff. Thank you so much, Mike, for bringing us your songs and your stories tonight. As a reminder, Mike has a new book out. If you go to mikeagranoff.com/shop, you can pick up not only his music and his recorded music, but also that new book of stories that he has. Thank you all in the audience as well for joining us. If you enjoyed tonight and you'd like to help support both Mike and Passim to continue to put on these shows and bring music out to where you are, you can go to passim.org/stream, and we suggest a $15 donation to help us keep running and to help out the show tonight. Thank you all for tuning in. You can go also to passim.org/stream to see all of our other upcoming shows. and to continue to be a part of this greater music community, which the silver lining of all of this is that it can be wherever you are. So thank you for spending your night with us, and we hope to see you next time. Bye.